economic incentives that unincorporated Pima County and the possibility of town of Vail do not have. The city of Tucson is prepared to welcome the state land department and this acreage into the city of Tucson for the benefit of the residents of the city of Tucson. This particular PAD will become part of much-needed shovel-ready spaces to add to our local economy, provide jobs, and attract high-wage, long-term jobs to the city of Tucson. I agree with Councilwoman Lee that Carrie Sylvan and her team are one of the best attorneys in land development in our region, I would say Southern Arizona and the state. Their process of working with stakeholders and neighbors of any of her projects always get her ear and accommodations to the concerns that stakeholders and residents surrounding her projects always do. So I agree that Councilwoman Lee pays attention to surrounding stakeholders, whether you live inside of the city limits or not. So this particular opportunity is an economic possibility for the city of Tucson, and it is only the beginning of the process. There's going to be plenty of process for Vail residents to give input and feedback. This particular part of the process is just accepting the possibility of annexation of state land. And so we are beginning the process. There will be much more opportunities for feedback and input, not just to state land, but also to mayor and council. So with that, there is a motion. There is a second to the motion to close the public hearing. We took a vote? We have to take separate votes, though.
For the record, we closed the public hearing. I did want to inform you that Councilmember Femers did have to leave, so he did not participate in the vote on closing the public hearing and will not participate for the rest of the evening.
But we have to make the motion each separately for every annexation. So any other comments from colleagues on the council? Okay, hearing none. What is the pleasure of the council regarding the Gabriel Annexation District?
So Mayor, I would like to move that we begin that process.
So there's a motion to move to proceed with the Gabriel Annexation District. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just clarify, we've got, which one is that? We've got Wiseman Ridge, Pabst
Gabriel.
Ridge, Hanson Ridge,
Alrighty.
Founders Ridge.
It's item 8. And Mike, if you want to clarify the where exactly the Gabriel Annexation District is? Go ahead. No.
Thank you, Mayor. There it is. The CODY annexation is the one that surrounds the Acacia School.
Gabriel Annexation District.
Okay, the Gabriel annexation is the southernmost district that abuts I-10 and the Colossal Cave Road.
And it's 34.9 acres?
Correct, 34.9 acres.
Okay. Working? Okay, I'm going to take the same position on all three of these, and I have two concerns. Number one is each of those three neighborhoods each is included in the incorporation map. And secondly, I have a concern about the impact on water with heavy industrial uses. And so I'm going to oppose this if we're at a vote yet.
Okay, so there is a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, do we need to take a roll call vote? Okay, so all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any against? Motion carries 5-1. So the second item is item 9. What is the council's pleasure on the J annexation district?
Mayor, I move to direct staff to continue with the J annexation district by gathering necessary property owner signatures and return with an ordinance of approving annexation of the property, basically beginning the process.
There's a motion.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Councilmember Dahl.
Yeah, I share my colleague, Vice Mayor Kozachek's concerns, especially about water. I think we're going to get a better result with these lands being stewarded by the city of Tucson than if they were just Pima County lands. They're owned by the state land department. They're state trust lands, so they're slated for development. They were given to the state by the federal government to be sold or to be used in commerce by grazing, minerals, whatever, to raise money primarily for education, which is ironic. I've had my heart broken by seeing state land developed, and I've worked hard in the past to reform our state land system. We've had 2 statewide votes that have failed because people didn't see the value of conserving those lands. But I believe that we're headed towards strict water conservation so that new industry, I propose that we look at 0 net water so that those industries would have to result in no additional use of water in our basin by paying for water conservation measures for peoples and places that can't normally pay for it. So I share your concerns, and I hope you will continue to express those concerns through the process, but I'm going to vote yes on this and the other too. Thank you.
So there's a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Motion carries 5-1. Item 10. What is the council's pleasure on the CODY annexation district?
Mayor, I move to direct staff to continue the same process with the CODY annexation district.
There's a motion. I get it.
A second?
There is a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Councilmember Cunningham.
So CODY is the one that concerns me the most because that's the one that's next to Acacia. And that's the one that I think long-term is something that I'd prefer to de-annex to Vail eventually. If they become a town and we have it, I'd rather it go to Vail and be part of Vail. And I don't know how we can make that happen. What I think
Councilmember,
is,
if I may, the State Land Department does not want to be annexed to Vail.
well, Vail doesn't exist, and I think that's one of the reasons why. So for me, I'm just saying we can start this process, but ultimately, I think we should have that discussion. If the town of Vail exists, I think that's a discussion we can have. That's all I'm saying.
So with that comment, hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Motion passes 5-1. Item 11.
Public hearing relating to the Downtown Tucson Enhanced Municipal Services Improvement District, the bid, hearing and passing on objections to assessments for fiscal year 2024 and adopting assessments on property within the bid.
City Manager's Communication Number 200 dated July 18th is received into and made part of the record. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a time and place legally advertised for a public hearing relating to the Downtown Tucson Enhanced Municipal Services Improvement District. Hearing and passing on objections to assessments for fiscal year 2024 and adopting assessments on property within the bid. This public hearing is scheduled to last for no more than 1 hour. Speakers are limited to 5-minute presentations. Do we have any speakers?
No, Your Honor.
Alrighty. May I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Second?
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of closing the public hearing signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. This public hearing is closed. Ms. Clerk, you are requested to read Resolution 23632 by number and title only.
Resolution number 23632 relating to the Downtown Tucson Enhanced Municipal Services Improvement District, the bid, hearing and passing on objections to assessments for fiscal year 2024 and adopting assessments on property within the bid.
What is the council's pleasure? So if I can get a motion to pass and adopt Resolution 23632.
Your Honor, I move we pass and adopt resolution number 23632.
There is a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Councilmember Dahl.
We received a letter from someone who has objected to being included. Mr. Manager or Lane, you know, Councilmember Santa Cruz, do you know anything about that?
Mr. Manager?
Yes, Mayor, we did receive a letter. There was a resident or a property owner who I believe represents 3 properties. We just got that today as a part of the distribution. They would be included in this. We can certainly continue to work with them, but at this point, they are the only ones that we had expressed a concern. It was in your email. I believe it was sent out today, earlier today.
I hate getting email today.
All righty. Any other questions, discussion on this item? Hearing none. We need to go to roll call.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Santa Cruz?
Aye.
Mr. Kozaczek? Mr. Cunningham? Aye. Mr. Fimbres? Oh, excuse me, he's absent.
Excused.
Mr. Dahl?
Aye.
Mrs. Lee?
Aye.
Mayor Romero?
Aye. Resolution 23632 passes by a vote of 6-0. Item 12.
Zoning Sonora Campus SWAN Annexation District, Pima County CI2 to the City of Tucson I2 and extension of major streets and routes designation ordinance adoption, ordinance 12014.
City Manager's Communication Number 192 dated July 18th is received into and made part of the record. Ms. Clerk, you are requested to read Ordinance 12014 by number and title only.
Ordinance number 12014 relating to zoning establishing original city zoning in the area located 1.25 miles south of Los Reales Road and on the east side of Swan Road in case TP ENT 0223000014 Sonora Campus Swan Annexation District, Pima County, CI2 to City of Tucson I2.
I lost my place. I lost my place. City Manager's Communication Number 192. Did I do that? What is the council's pleasure?
Mayor, on behalf of Councilmember Fimbres, I'd like to move that we pass and adopt ordinance number 12014.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, let's go to roll call.
Councilwoman Lee?
Aye.
Councilmember Dahl?
Aye.
Councilmember Cunningham?
Aye.
Councilmember Santa Cruz?
Aye.
Councilmember Kozaczek? Mayor Romero?
Aye. Ordinance 12014 passes by a vote of 6-0. Item 13.
Zoning Speedway Storage, C1 to C2 City Manager's Report.
City Manager's Communication Number 193 dated July 18th is received into and made part of the record. This is a request by Carrie Sylvan and Robin Large of Lazarus and Sylvan PC on behalf of the developer Johnson Development Associates to rezone approximately 2.1 acres from C1 to C2 commercial zoning. This site is currently vacant and located 410 feet east of the intersection of East Speedway Boulevard and North Camino Seco on the south side of Speedway. Is the applicant or representative present?
Mayor, members of the council, Carrie Sylvan with Lazarus and Sylvan. Also have Greer Gordon, who's here with Johnson Development Company.
Are you agreeable to the proposed requirements?
We are agreeable.
Thank you. What is the council's pleasure on this item?
Your Honor, I just want to make sure is there anybody here speaking on this item? Your Honor, I move that we pass and adopt this item. I don't have the nomenclature in front of me. It's not
So
on the
approve the
agenda.
request for rezoning as recommended by the zoning examiner.
Oh, Your Honor, I move that we pass and adopt the city manager's report, TPNT 0223000015.
Second.
So there is a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's go to roll call.
Mr. Cunningham?
Aye.
Mrs. Lee?
Aye.
Mr. Kozaczek? Ms. Santa Cruz?
Aye.
Mr. Dahl?
Aye.
Mayor Romero?
Aye. Item passes 6-0. Item 14,
Zoning, C9 2208, McNew Investments LLC, Golf Links C1 to C2, ordinance adoption, ordinance number 12015.
City Manager's Communication Number 194 dated July 18th is received into and made part of the record. This is a request for an ordinance by Rory Juneman and Robin Large of Lazarus Sylvan PC on behalf of the developer applicant McNew Investments LLC to rezone approximately 1.12 acres from C1 to C2. The rezoning site is comprised of vacant land located on the south side of East Golf Links, approximately 600 feet east of the intersection of Golf Links and Pantano Parkway, and 475 feet west of the intersection of Golf Links and South Oakenshaw Way. Is the applicant or representative present?
Mayor, members of the council, Carrie Sylvan with Lazarus and Sylvan. I do want to point out the McNews are here as well. We're very excited about this ordinance adoption, and I am probably inappropriately taking credit for our team, Rory and Robin, and the McNews, who really were the ones who did a lot of the engagement, but we decided I should just stay here for this, since I'm already here.
All righty, so hearing the agreement by the proposed requirements, Ms. Clerk, you are requested to read ordinance 120150 by number and title only.
Ordinance number 12015 relating to zoning, amending zoning district boundaries in the area located on the south side of Golf Links Road, approximately 600 feet east of Pantano Parkway in case C9 22-08, C1 to C2, and setting an effective date.
What is the council's pleasure?
So I want to thank Robin, Rory, Carrie, the McNews for your time working with the surrounding residents to address the concerns pertaining to noise, traffic, and lighting. The proposed project develops a vacant site, which has been a nuisance in the past. After working with residents in my office for the past year, the developer has agreed to provide sufficient landscaping, raise the adjacent property owner's block walls, orient the vehicle tire installation and repair activities so it has less of an impact to the surrounding neighbors. Got to take a breath, ensure the site lighting doesn't bleed into the neighborhood, and limit their hours of operation of mechanical tools. Based on all of that great work, thank you for that. I want to move that we adopt ordinance C9 2208, approving C2 zoning subject to the agreed upon conditions.
So
Second,
there's
Your
a
Honor.
motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Councilmember.
Just want to commend Ward 4's leadership on this. There's a lot of my constituents affected by this situation too, and I'm really glad everybody got reached out to and that we had a really good and healthy discussion.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, let's go to roll call.
This is on the motion to pass and adopt ordinance 12015. Mrs. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Santa Cruz?
Aye.
Mr. Kozaczek? Mr. Dahl?
Aye.
Mr. Cunningham? Aye. Mayor Romero?
Aye. Ordinance 12015 passes by a vote of 6-0. Item 15.
Now I've crashed. Just a moment.
Oh, no.
I think they have to read it first. Got it right here.
Oh, I am, right?
No, I am.
Item 15, City Administration approving the appointment of KRISTINA Swallow as the Director of Planning and Development Services Department, ordinance 12016.
City Manager's Communication Number 195 dated July 18th is received into and made part of the record. Ms. Clerk, you are requested to read ordinance 12016 by number and title only.
Ordinance number 12016 relating to Planning and Development Services Department, approving the appointment of KRISTINA Swallow as the Director of Planning and Development Services Department, fixing compensation and declaring an emergency.
What is the council's pleasure?
Madam Mayor, I move we pass and adopt ordinance number 12016.
There is a motion and a second, and this is the part of discussion, and I know that we haven't voted, but I'm sure we will be in agreement with the city manager's recommendation of appointing KRISTINA Swallow to be the Planning and Development Services Department Director. I just wanted to extend a warm Tucson welcome to our new Director of Planning and Development Services, KRISTINA Swallow. KRISTINA joins us from Nevada, where she previously served as the Director of the Nevada Department of Transportation with over 30 years of experience in engineering and infrastructure management. She brings a wealth of knowledge to her new role. KRISTINA's expertise spans transportation, infrastructure, land development, public policy, and community advocacy. I'm confident that she will bring innovative ideas to improve the services and processes in the Planning and Development Services Department. I look forward to working together to continue to remove barriers and improve systems to create the equitable, sustainable, thriving city we all love. So thank you for your interest and wanting to return to your hometown of Tucson, Arizona. We are looking forward to your work with us, KRISTINA. Thank you so much for wanting to join the City of Tucson family. With that, any other discussion?
KRISTINA, welcome back to Tucson. The only disappointment I had on your resume, it didn't include Rincon High School. So, that was the one thing I was like, hey. But other than that, I know we go back, or at least through 1 degree of separation, so it's great to have you aboard. And we have high expectations, so I can't wait for you to deliver. Thank you.
Any others? Hearing none, we need to go to roll call.
Mr. Dahl?
Aye.
Ms. Santa Cruz?
Aye.
Mr. Kozaczek? Mrs. Lee?
Thanks for picking us. Aye.
Mr. Cunningham?
Aye.
Mayor Romero?
Aye. Ordinance 12016 passes by a vote of 6-0. Congratulations, thank you. Item 16,
Finance, fixing, levying, and assessing the primary and secondary property taxes for fiscal year 2023-24, ordinance number 12017.
City Manager's Communication Number 198 dated July 18th is received into and made part of the record. Ms. Clerk, you are requested to read ordinance 12017 by number and title only.
Ordinance number 12017, relating to taxation, fixing, levying, and assessing primary and secondary property taxes for the city of Tucson upon the assessed valuation of the property within the city of Tucson, subject to taxation, each in a certain sum upon each $100 of valuation sufficient to raise the amount estimated to be required in the annual budget, less the amounts estimated to be received from other sources of revenue and unencumbered balances from the previous fiscal year, all for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
What is the council's pleasure?
I move that we pass and adopt ordinance 12017.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Councilmember Cunningham.
I just want to make sure that tomorrow, not to plant headlines or anything, but we lowered our property taxes tonight. We lowered our property taxes. We lowered taxes.
Yes, absolutely. These rates are actually lower than before, resulting in a decrease in the primary property tax and a decrease in the secondary property tax. So it really is lowering taxes. So any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, let's go to roll call.
Mr. Kozaczek? Ms. Santa Cruz?
Aye.
Mrs. Lee?
Aye.
Mr. Dahl?
Aye.
Mr. Cunningham?
Aye.
Mayor Romero?
Aye. Ordinance 12017 passes by a vote of 6-0. Item 17.
Adjournment.
Council will stand adjourned. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be on Tuesday, August 8th, 2023, at or after 5:30 p.m. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful week.
you.